Hi guys, my name is Brittany. I'm here to film my first YouTube video. I figured I'd do like a little get ready with me. I'm always getting asked at work like how I do my makeup and stuff, so I figured why not give it a go, you know? I'm just gonna do what I know and hopefully this will help some people. So the first thing I do on my step is I've already moisturized my face. The first thing else I do is then my eyebrows. As you can see, I kind of have a little bit of unevenness in my eyebrows. So one thing that I find that's really important to me is I draw the bottom of my eyebrows first, of both of them, so that way I can get an even line across. Just using my little NYX birthday palette I got from Ulta for free. If you guys aren't signed up for that stuff, you should be. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see what's going on here. I have one line all the way down across my eyebrow, and then I have the top filled in, stopping about right here, because I draw hair-like strokes, which are just small movements up, in order to make it look like I actually have hair on my eyebrows, and that I didn't just like block the suckers in, you feel? And if I come up close, can you see the difference? See those little hairs? That's what we want. That's what's gonna make your eyebrow not look like you've just put 16 pounds of makeup on, because girl, you know we did. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now I have the brows all shaped out. I'm just gonna do one final step of carving out the bottom. I do this so I can even them out even more, because like I said, I have uneven brows. I'm using a little flat, it's a little bit dirty, whatever. And then I'm using my Nars, maybe it's this way, yeah. I'm using my Nars Creamy Radiant Concealer in the shade Light 02 Vanilla. And then the way I carve out my brows, oh, just smacked myself in the face, is I just tap along the bottom of it. And I draw a line straight across. Maybe my whole face is just uneven. And see there? We're now gonna get an even line across our brows and we'll have even brows. Alright, so I used the brush and some concealer to draw and even out the bottom of this brow. And then I'm just taking the brush and I just pat it down in order to blend the concealer out. Then I put some concealer on my eyelids. I use this kind of as a primer, like an eyeshadow base. I'm not gonna use that brush actually. Then I just use this little, I believe it's a concealer brush. I don't know, I use it for concealer. It's just kind of flat, a little bit dirty, sorry about that. It's like flat and fluffy, fat and fluffy, just like me. Alright, so after I put concealer on my eyelids, I just set it with a eyeshadow that's the same color as my skin tone. I just pat it on my eyelids to set it. I do this so that way eyeshadows then will blend out evenly on top of it. You don't want to put eyeshadows down on a sticky base. Alright, so my favorite go-to palette is my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. She's well loved. I probably should have cleaned this off before. Yeah, whatever. Alright, I'm going to take the color Salted Caramel right there It is a neutral light brown. I'm just going to blend this shade into my crease. Put the color down where you want it first, and then windshield wiper motions into the crease. I find it easiest to look down into your mirror versus like... Alright. As you can see, just windshield wiper motions, and it has blended out nicely. Alright, now that we have that color down, I'm going to be moving on to a darker color, but I'm going to do a smaller brush. For this, I'm going to my Pur Diaries palette. I got this in my BoxyCharm as well. I'm going in with the shade Socialite. It's a darker warm brown. It's well loved, as you can see. And then I'm going to just place it on my outer corner. Why am I doing this in the camera? I'm going to place it on the outer corner, kind of closer down towards my lashes, not quite in my crease. Okay, so now I'm blending it into my crease, that warmer brown. And I'm not blending this all the way into my inner corner, I'm keeping it more towards the outer 2/3 of my eye. And then since we used a smaller brush, we can then go back in with our bigger brush just to blend it out. And boom, it is that easy. One brush, so use one bigger brush to put in the light brown, and then use a smaller brush to put in the darker color, blend it out, and then use the bigger brush to then blend it back out. Alright, so those two colors are now in my crease. Blend it out. Boom. Done. This is going to be a really simple look. I figured for my first one, I wouldn't go too crazy. And now, just going back in, it's like a bone shade. It's kind of yellowy. I'm going to take a flat top brush, and I'm going to pat that on my eyelid, so that way we can make sure we still have that definition on my eyelid. Alright, so the eyeliner I like to use is the Maybelline Eye Studio. I find that it is the darkest. It lasts all day. It doesn't smudge onto my upper eyelid, which is a problem I usually have. I like to use a little baby brush. Alright, I'm going to fill in along my lash line. Because sometimes I realize that if I don't do a wing liner, or when I do a wing liner, I'll have a gap. And I'm not a fan of that. Okay, so as you can see, I wasn't too worried about making the line perfect. I was more focusing on making sure that it's completely covered from my eyelashes, that there's no gap. And then next I'm going to take an angled liner brush. This is when the magic happens. This is when it's easy. This is where everyone thinks is the hard part. It's not. So I just angled my brush from here to the end of my brow. I draw one little line, just a very light line. And then all I do from here is I place my brush on the tip of that line, and I draw in. And boom, there's your wing shape. All I gotta do is fill that in. All I gotta do is fill that in. So I just take the side of my brush, so the outer corner is probably the scariest part because that's where you're most likely to go wrong. Just follow that outline that you have. Don't try to get fancy, don't try to get crazy, just follow it. So I just drew down on that line, drew across, and now I just have to fill it in. Boom. And then to make it a little bit sharper, look a little bit cleaner, taking the little brush again and just extend it. That's all there is to it. Alright, so now I have the liner on both eyes done. I did the exact same step. If you only have one of the brushes, that's okay. Just do the same steps. Draw the line, fill it in. Boom, done. Also, if you focus on going to the tail of your eyebrow, for the most part, they're gonna be pretty even. And if they're not that even, most people can't even tell. So the next step that I do after my eyeliner is my eyelashes. So I have my little eyelash curler. I'm just gonna go ahead and curl those quickly. I don't really have any experience in video making or video editing. I have a little bit of experience of like, not really like photo editing, but like I used to make like Facebook headers, or you know, one time I made a flyer for a guy's company. So I'm hoping that I can try to apply some of those techniques into something I'm doing on here. Alright, and now I'm going to apply some mascara. My favorite mascara at this point in time is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. It's very similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I actually just don't like that mascara. I prefer this one. I'm just going to apply a coat. I'm just going to make sure that they look dark and filled in with the liner, because I am going to be applying false lashes. See, and that right there is the reason I do my eyes first. What have I done? What have I done? I know, I see it. I'll fix it. Alright, so I'm going to be using Kiss number 11 lashes in my Duo Lash Glue. My fave. The first thing you want to do is, before putting on your lashes, is make sure that they fit your eye. Fortunately, I don't have to trim them, but if you do, make sure you always trim from the outer corner, not the inner. Alright, the way I apply the glue is I just pinch it with my tweezers and then I just hold it. I have to buy some more lash glue. And then I just apply glue all over it, and you actually want to give it a minute to get tacky. You don't want to just apply this straight onto your eye. The glue is still not going to be tacky enough, and it's probably going to slide around. Anyways, I hold it in the center. The best way for me to apply false lashes is I place the center of the lash first. Then I grab the outer corner and I attach that. Boom. Then I grab the inner corner. And attach that. It's that simple. Also, if you're going to be using tweezers by your eyes, please be careful. Don't blind yourself. Don't scratch your eye out. It's not a good time. Just going to let that glue dry a little. And while I do that, I'm going to curl my lashes while the glue is still just a little bit wet. I find that gives me the best way to clamp them together without them like separating. That's my little tip if you're not able to get your lashes right on the lash line, to put them on and then curl them before everything dries, and it'll kind of slide them into place. And then I'm just going to take my little brush with no extra product, my liner brush, just to kind of go over it to hide any bit of the glue that is still showing. So now I have the upper half of my eyes done. I'm going to move on to the rest of my face. First step I like to do is I put a little bit of setting spray on my face just to kind of give me some dewiness. I'm using the Milani Make It Last setting spray. And I like to do this because I feel like it helps me blend my concealer out a little bit better. I'm going to put a few dots under my eyes. I like to put some around my nose because I have a lot of redness there. And then one thing I do like to do is carve out my cheekbones a little bit. So I don't go all the way back to my ear because I don't like to get it in my hairline. So they're just lined down to my cheek, and then I'm going to do the center of my face to even everything out. So that's what I do. And I just blend it down to my cheekbone. And as you can see, I didn't blend over that eyeshadow. I know I have a little black dot. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just going to let it be. I didn't blend it all the way to the eyeshadow. I made sure I didn't cover any of that. And also you can see that I didn't apply it straight to my lower lash line. I applied it a little bit underneath it so that way it's not too cakey under my eye. And I'm just blending it all out. And now that that's all blended out, I'm going to set my under eyes and then just lightly set the rest of my face. I like to use the RCMA No Color Powder. I find that it's one of the only powders that doesn't make my face look dry and crepey. And I'm just going to be using this e.l.f. I believe it's their I'm just going to be using a little fluffy e.l.f. brush. Just a little bit of that powder. Tap off all the excess. And just dab it under my eye. I don't want to swipe it because I really want to make sure that this area is set and doesn't crease. I do have a little bit of wrinkles under there, so. And then for the rest of my face, I'm using my e.l.f. complexion brush. It's just a big fluffy brush. And with some product on there, I dab a little bit of powder on my face and then I just buff it out. I don't really set my nose too much. Because my nose is really dry, especially in this time of the year when it's cold and, you know, I've been having a runny nose. The tip of my nose will get all dry and flake off. So I will just set it only the tiniest bit using whatever's left on my brush. Not setting any more powder on there. Just whatever's left. And back to my eyes. And so using this tiny little dome brush, it's like a little pencil brush, I'm going in with the darker color we used in our crease, which was Social Light in the Pur Cosmetics Soiree Diaries palette. I like to look up and then just hug that along my lower lash line. And as you can see, it makes my eyes look more defined. And then to finish off those eyes, I'm using the same mascara. And I'm just going to apply some on my lower lash line. I'm going to take a flat kabuki brush and I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And I'm using the shade Light Bronzer because I'm very fair. If you have a darker skin tone, you're going to want to get the darker shade of this. So I'm just going to follow that. Pretty much it starts at the top of your ear and ends at the side of your mouth. I like to go and just, as you can see how I'm holding my brush, I'm putting the edge of the brush where I don't want to blend lower than that. Like I want it to all go up to lift the face, not bring the face down. And I keep it back towards the hairline where I have the most product before I bring it forward. Just adds a nice sheen of color. And I also put it along my forehead right here, up in my temple, and along my jawline to try to hide my double chin. I'm going to do a little tiny bit of contour using my Too Faced Sweet Tea bronzer. She's well loved. She's almost gone. But she's split into two colors, a lighter one and a darker one. And she's a bit shimmery, but I actually enjoy that because I like that it makes it look like my skin's not as dry. And I'm going to take this little dome brush. It's kind of a foundation brush, but I like to use it for contour. And I'm going to take one side of it and I'm just going to dip it in the darker part. And staying on the back, I'm just going to lightly brush. I'm not going to blend too hard. I'm barely touching my skin. And I'm making sure to stay in little circular motions to keep it blend out. Blend. I'm going to use my Maybelline, what is this called? Maybelline Master Strobing Liquid. This is in 100 Light Iridescent. Okay, and the way I like to apply this liquid highlighter is actually just with my fingers. So I'm going to apply a little dollop onto the back of my hand, like really just a tiny little bit. You do not need a lot. And I'm going to take my ring finger because you can use that with the least amount of pressure. I'm dipping into it and then I'm dipping off of it to get off the extra product. And I'm just going to follow my cheekbone. I'm going to dip just the tip of my nose. I don't like a blinding tip of the nose highlight, but just a little something. And then I'm going to apply just to the bridge of my nose. I'm going to apply above my eyebrow. As you can see now, I'm applying very little product. And my Cupid's bow. I'm going to take my Becca highlighter and Prosecco Pop and just a fluffy highlighting brush. I'm going to apply this very lightly because it's a kind of a pale gold, but I'm pale, and so sometimes this can look like a dark streak across my face, and that's not what I'm looking for. But I'm just going to dab it over that liquid highlighter before that completely sets, and look at the difference. So highlighted, but like boom. I like to apply my highlight before I apply my blush because then I can feel like I can mesh my bronzer and my highlight together. And for this, I'm just going to be using an angled face brush. And I'm going for, like, I have like a pretty warm pinky look on, so I'm going for my Wet n Wild and Pearlescent Pink. I'm going to dip it in there, and I'm going to really tap it off and pat it on the back of my hand first, because I don't want to apply a lot. I like to build it up to the color that I want and try it, instead of just trying to like swipe it on all at once. And I just tap my face. Next, I'm going to apply a lip. Today I'm going to use my Lips-Jonteblu, I don't know how to say that, lip liner in the color Spice. I'm just going to apply that around the edges. I'm not really someone who's into overlining my lips. I just kind of follow the lips that I got. And I just filled up the outline of my lips, leaving the center bare. The lip gloss I'm going to be applying is the NYX Butter Gloss in Crème Brulee. Focusing it on the center of my lips. And also using the wand of the lip gloss to blend in the lip liner. And to finish this off, I'm going to be using that Milani setting spray one more time. And I'm gonna go do my hair and I'll be right back. Alright guys, and this is the final look. This is a very Britney look. It's very simple. This is something I wear pretty much almost all the time. This is how I do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I'm sure I will be making some more. If you guys wanted me to do something else, like maybe like stuff you guys want to know about me, feel free to like just comment. I'll answer stuff. I mean, I got approximately 0 subscribers at this point, so if you comment, you're probably gonna be the only one. I got you. I'll message back, okay? So again, just thank you for watching. Love you guys. Bye. Hi guys, my name is Brittany. How many times could I say the word light brown? Thanks for farting in my video.
yourself go, oh.
I don't know. If you guys, my boyfriend's here. He might have just farted in the video. Alright, so my favorite eyeliner to use is actually from the drugstore. It's Maybelline. Maybe I should clean this off. Grab my radiance concealer.